Growing up, I'm sure that each of us had a four-letter word we weren't allowed to say in our homes. Probably our parents hoping and wishing that eventually we would grow up to have clean and articulate language. However, I'm going to let it loose today. That word in our home was diet. I think diet's kind of a funny word because you can rearrange those letters and spell words like tied and die. So when I feel like I'm tied to a diet, I feel like I'm gonna die because I feel restricted and unfulfilled. A lot of our economy and social atmosphere is surrounded with weight loss and body images. We see it plastered in the aisles of Walmart of things like lose 10 pounds in 5 days and other unpromising things that are super hard to actually achieve and usually not a healthy way to actually maintain a good lifestyle. Taking control of your eating habits and increasing your dietary fiber intake can help you recognize and maintain an actual healthy image and body style. Not only that, but it can help you have a healthier digestive system because it increases your nutritional intake, and it also puts your emotional guilt to rest because you're increasing your satiation due to fulfilling foods and still allowing yourself to have that piece of cake or brownie on Sundays whenever you feel like it. I'm currently a student at BYU, and I am one class away from graduating with my bachelor's in exercise and wellness, emphasizing nutrition. However, before I even knew better, I often found myself falling into these fad diets, including Weight Watchers and keto and low carb diets and paleo. I found myself so frustrated because often I would feel unsatisfied and I felt myself obsessing over and over more about my body, and not only that, but food that I could and I could not have. Whenever we take dietary fiber and make that our goal of consumption, we're able to maintain an actual healthy body weight, as well as enhance feelings of fullness and satiation, and which obviously will reduce hunger, and it doesn't make you obsessed with, as I said before, what you can and cannot have. This solution is better than dieting because concentrating on a regime of high in fiber gives you a well-rounded diet full of variety of nutrition that's adding to your nutrients as well as your vitamins and minerals. According to the Mayo Clinic for Medical Education and Research, it states that women should be getting anywhere from 21 to 28 grams of fiber a day. Men should be getting anywhere from 30 to 38. I can tell you right now that America is not even close. And that's due to all the wonderful fulfilling things that we have, but as well as the fulfilling junk foods that we have, as well as these restricting diets that are completely taking out food groups altogether. I think about the keto diet that does not encourage carbs at all, and so you're taking out all of your fiber from your whole grains, as well as limitations on fruit, which has tons of fiber. We have a list right here that I handed out before my speech today about foods that are high in fiber. So if you take a look on our right, you have fruits that you can eat that are absolutely delicious and can get full on, including raspberries and strawberries, apples, and then throwing in there with some carrots and ranch and celery. If you flip the back, you can see on the handout that there are grains. You could have a whole wheat piece of buttered toast, oatmeal with some brown sugar, and over here you can have dishes such as spaghetti with whole wheat noodles and beans, etc., and almonds, which are a personal favorite. So this is a reference for you to look at and to recognize some of those high fiber foods. This way of eating doesn't restrict. It gives you variety and it gives you lots of nutrition to pull from. So that way you're never limiting yourself on nutrients that are actually needed within the body. A high fiber diet also promotes a negative energy balance, aka less caloric intake, and therefore you feel fuller faster, and that just causes weight loss in and of itself. If you're hungry, there's several choices, just like we talked about, to choose from. And you're able to pull from brown rice and chicken and stir-fried vegetables and eat as much as you want until you feel full, rather than working with little portions like a diet normally tells you to do. In the Obesity Society Research Journal, they wrote an article called Fiber Intake of Normal Weight, Moderately Obese, and Severely Obese Subjects. There they took 50 women and put them in groups accordingly. If they had a body mass index anywhere between 20 and 27, they were put into the normal group. If they had anywhere above 27 to 39, they were put in moderately obese, and then anything above 39 was in the severe obesity group. They took these women and they monitored their fiber intake for 3 whole days, writing down everything that they ate naturally and under natural circumstances. Well, the findings were very significant in seeing that the group that had a normal body mass index often had a huge increase in their dietary fiber intake, while those that were struggling with weight often had less dietary fiber intake and ate less of those foods. This can show that we are able to lose weight and also manage our weight well whenever we have an increase in dietary fiber. The reason being, normally I would have a slideshow with this, is because of things like the example of whole grains. I have here an example of a wheat germ and all of the contents of it. So right here you can see this is the whole wheat, and this right here is the refined grain. In the whole wheat, we have the bran, which is the outer shell, which makes our body work to digest and actually push through the nutrients that it has. That's why white wheat bread's a little bit more fibrous and tough. While on the refined grain, all you have is the endosperm. Nothing but the endosperm, which is why white bread is so white and fluffy. So as we eat whole grains, which are high in dietary fiber, our body has to work harder in order to be able to digest it and actually push it through. As it does this, we're able to maintain our body weight and also feel fuller faster. We're able to feel satiated and not feel like we want to snack or constantly have the urge to eat because we're not getting enough. It provides that fulfillment. Allowing yourself to also escape the dieting mentality by increasing your fiber intake will lead to results in happier, self-motivated attitudes, as well as fighting against depression and that self-deprecating guilt. When I was doing the keto diet, I remember I was having a super hard day and I just wanted nothing but a piece of Maggleby's chocolate cake. So I went into my kitchen and that's exactly what I did. I had a big old slice, and I remember feeling so mentally guilty and horrible about it that I didn't eat the rest of the day, even though it was only 2 p.m. This is not a healthy way of thinking. Instead, we should do as Dr. Monique Tello tells us. She's from the Medical School of Harvard, and she wrote in her article, "Diet and Depression, a dietary pattern characterized by a high intake of fruit, vegetables, whole grains, fish, olive oil," basically everything that we've talked about in our diet, "and low intakes of animal foods is apparently associated with a decreased risk of depression." As we focus on really wonderful, nutritious foods, not restraining anything, it allows us to feel happier and more fulfilled for ourselves. Stop dieting. Make a commitment today to instead focus and take a look at this handout I gave you to increase your fiber intake. As you do so, your mental well-being will be uplifted. You'll feel your nutrition and you'll feel yourself vibrant because you're actually being fulfilled with all of the things that you need. And not only that, but you'll be able to partake from all the food groups and also give you a diet that is fulfilling to what you need. And don't be tied down to diets and feel like you're gonna die. Instead, increase your fiber and your overall well-being and happiness.